Hi, welcome to my channel and my very first video. I am on a makeup group on Facebook called What's Up in Makeup, and it's run by Jen Loves Reviews, who I will link down below. I post my looks every day during the week. Generally I take weekends off because the face needs a rest. But I got asked on more than one occasion this week how I did my eye makeup. So I decided I was going to post a video about that. So I actually took my makeup off and put it back on only for the ability to do a video and talk about it here. So without further ado, let's go check that out. I already have my foundation on and my concealer and my powder. I've got my eyebrows done. So the next step that I like to do is that's when I'll do my eyeshadow. So today, what I've been asked for the most is showing how to do a good purple look. So I've got my best purple shadows out and we'll go from there. Mostly what I like to use is the Kylie Purple palette. This one just came out. My husband got it for me for our anniversary and I absolutely love it. This is what it looks like. You can tell I kind of adore it. Names of the shades are on the back. So what I'll do first is I have a complete mishmash of brushes and they don't necessarily have any kind of particular loyalty to anything. A lot of the stuff I've got is gifts from people that know I like brushes or things I picked up along the way from different sets and whatnot. So I have this Tarte brush that I got from a concealer set from QVC when I was still pregnant, so 2014. It looks like this, and it's got a second side that makes a good little blending brush if that's what you want to use, but I use this side to go all over my lid, and I'm gonna go in with this color, which is called Lilac, and I will go all over the lid and up to the brow bone, kind of creating a single solitary color. And I like to pack on that color. I do use the Max Paint Pot in Soft Ochre for my primer. I do go over it with translucent powder, and I use the RCMA powder. I love it. It doesn't give me any flashback when I take pictures, and it's so cheap. It's like $5 and you get so much in a spice jar, and it's filled right up to the brim when you get it. I've had it for 2 or 3 months now, and I use it every day, and I use it twice per time I do my makeup, and I've literally used half an inch, so it goes a long way. Now that I've gotten that lilac shade down on my eyes, I'm gonna go in with this shade, and it's called Turning Violet, and I'm gonna use this Morphe brush that's called S27. My Morphe brushes are obviously not affiliated because this is my first video and nobody cares what I think, but they come from my sister. She gave them to me as a birthday gift a couple years ago. So I will swirl it around in Turning Violet and kind of tap off the excess. I like to go like this. It just gives me enough. I don't like to hit it too hard. And I will go from the outer corner to the inner corner, back and forth a whole bunch of times, spreading that color out. And you really, there's an awful lot of pigmentation in these shadows, and they go a good long distance. And then I'll follow up with a fluffy blending brush that is a no-name brush that I got at Target, and I love it. It's soft and it really diffuses out the pigmentation and gives me a really nice soft look. And I'll do the same on the other side. Set, and I would cry. And I will definitely cry when this brush dies, because it is definitely one of my favorites. Now, I'm gonna go back into Turning Violet, but I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush. This is the Sigma E38. Now, if I have to pick a brush brand that I like myself, just because I like them, it's Sigma. I like how soft they are, I like the weight of them, I like the way that they hold the product. Generally happy. Now what I have found is if you go a little tighter with your brush, you're going to get a darker color than you did when you have a fluffier brush. Now, you can see I'm getting a good amount of color in there, and it's exactly the same color, but because the brush is more densely packed, it's gonna hold those colors a little truer, a little more, and you're gonna get some really pretty dark shades. Okay. And blend it. And I blend my shadows an awful lot. And I do that because I want everything to diffuse together as much as possible. And I don't care if I make a little mess on the outside corner here, because I'm going to go back through when I'm done and clean it up with some concealer and an angled brush just to get the line that I want. So make a little mess. Next, I'm going to take the same Sigma brush, but this time I'm going to go into this center color here called Wine and Dine. It's kind of a really pretty maroon color, and it's a little different. So swirl the brush and tap it. Now this time I'm going to start in the outer corner, and I'm going to go in circles and try to pack that color on. And I'm having a little bit of a time of it this time. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And I will go back through this again. But I like to pack it onto the outer corner first. I'm bringing it in. And you'll notice each time I bring another color in, I'm coming further and further into my eye. And I do that so it gets a little darker closer to the outside corner if you're doing a smoked out eye. And the darker you get out there, the softer that transition is going to be all the way down. I did go to cosmetology school, but the school that I went to really didn't focus too much on makeup, and even though I really wanted to do that, I was in a hair, and that's what their predominant focus was. We did do some skincare and waxing and very little makeup, which was a shame because I really wanted to learn more about it, but you get what you get. So anything I've learned from or learned how to do with makeup is because I watch so many videos, just so many videos. And I feel like now is a good time to just address the fact that yes, I am doing my makeup in my kitchen. I am right next to my sink. I have this cabinet behind me that my husband and I built because this is where the light is in our apartment. Everywhere else looks like a cave. So if I try to film a video in my bathroom, in my bedroom, the kitchen table, anywhere normal people would film a video, I get this horrible amount of shadow, and it's awful. And I have a ring light up here, and any light we've got comes from that ring light and the fact that I have a fluorescent light in my kitchen. This is not the greatest place in the world to decide to start filming YouTube videos for people. So we've got all this packed in. Now I'm going to go in with this small taper blending brush from Sigma. It's an E45. It looks kind of pencil-y. It's nice and pointy, but it's really soft and it's got some good bend in it. I'm gonna go into this bottom corner called Blueberry, and it's kind of a smoky blue-gray. And I'm gonna get just a little bit onto the tip of the brush and tap off the excess. And then I'm gonna go into the outside corners and just the very corner, bring it into my lash line, go out and bring it into the crease. Now I have hooded eyes, so where most people see that it's a little harder for them with hooded eyes, I create a playground in my crease because I can make it nice and dark, and I get some really nice effect. And that's gonna give me just the deepest part of my shadow, and that's gonna blend in really nice to the purples, so you're not going to really see that there's gray in there. And do the same on the other eye. That's generally my philosophy with makeup. If it makes you happy and you think you look good, then rock it, because who cares what anybody else thinks? It's your face. Alright. And then I'm going to go through with this Morphe S28 brush. I'm going to go into that color, the wine color from the Kylie palette, Wine and Dine. I'm going to go underneath my lower lash line about halfway and just kind of bring the color along. And that's just going to bring the color that I have on top down, creating a really pretty smoky look. Alright, so what I do next, now that I've got the outer corner done and the blending done in the crease, I go in with a glitter glue, and I'm going to use some duochrome. Now I use a glitter glue for it because I find some glitter glue and my finger make the best amount of color payoff that I'm going to get from a shade like that. Now, I used to use the Too Faced glitter glue, but it's expensive and I don't see the need for it. And I use now the NYX glitter glue, or they call it glitter primer, excuse me. And added bonus, it's a cute little holographic container. And it works really great, so I don't really see the need to go crazy and buy a name brand if there's a better formula for a cheaper price. And NYX is amazing. So I'm going to apply it to my ring finger. In everything I do when touching my lid or under my eye, I use my ring finger, because your ring finger is your finger with the least amount of strength. So you're going to be less likely to tug on your eye or underneath, causing premature wrinkling later down the road. You always want to be really gentle when touching your eyelid or your under eye. So when you're applying your eye moisturizer at night or during the day when you're getting ready, you always want to go really gentle and always use your ring finger. I'm going to just pat that along, and you'll see where it's going. And I am not afraid to use quite a bit. You know, a little bit goes a very long way. This is all I will use on it, on a lid. And I'm only going to take it from the inner corner, and I'm going to rub it out into where the color starts at the outer corner. I'm just going to pat it in. I'm going to let that set for a second. Okay, so after that's dry, and after you have cleaned your hands, take your ring finger and run it into this color right here. Now it's a really pretty duochrome purple. So it's purple with a blue shift in it, and it is called Amethyst. And I'm gonna swirl it along, so there's some on my finger, and I'm gonna just tap it. and you'll see. You'll get that really pretty duochrome happening in your eye more when you apply it with your finger than you ever will with a brush. And do the same on both eyes. And just go back and forth and just pack on the color as much as you need to get the payout that you're looking for. And go back and check in your mirror, make sure you're not missing any spots. Now, after I've done that, I'm going to create a focal point in the center of my eye. Now I'm going to use the Sigma Exact Blend brush in E23, which is this one. And I've definitely got a purple finger, so I'm going to have to wipe that at some point. And I'm going to swirl it along in this color called Periwinkle, I guess. It's more of a pinky purple, if you ask me, than a purpley blue. But I'm just going to put that in the very center of my lid. And that's going to create a focal point and create a kind of dimension that didn't exactly exist in your eyelid before. And you can see dimension kind of flat, dimension definitely a little flat. And I'm going to do that on the other side. And blend it out with my finger a little bit, because you don't want it to look like a spotlight. You just kind of want it to look a little softer and not quite so in your face. And then I'm going to go back in with the lilac color. Just kind of sweep it under my brow bone a little bit and blend it out with my finger. And I'm using my middle finger this time, only because I still have eyeshadow on my ring finger because of who I am as a person. I'm going very, very lightly and barely touching. That way I get some soft blending. Now, this is what I think everybody's here for. It's how I do my inner corner. Now my inner corner, let's back up. When it first came out, I bought ColourPop My Little Pony palette because I was born in 1982. And I love the original My Little Ponies. Don't get me wrong, I got no hate for Friendship is Magic. It's absolutely adorable. I watch it with my 2-year-old daughter all the time. But I have a soft spot because this was my very first pony that we ever bought. I love it. I think it's great. And I think the colors in this palette are awesome. Now there was a duochrome white shade right here. And this is called Snuzzle. And it's a white with a blue-green shift, and it's gorgeous. It's just beautiful. And I noticed that I didn't have a real use for it, and I always like to put a lighter color on the inside of my eyes because it makes my eyes look wider and brighter. But because the pans in here are so tiny, and because this was a limited edition, I was worried about finding a dupe. So I looked around and I found as close to a dupe as I'm ever gonna get was going to be the Kat Von D Alchemist Holographic Palette. This is called Alchemist because it changes the colors of the shades that you put it on top of, which to me is a really neat thing. I think that's great, but all of these shades inside are duochrome in different bases. So while none of them are white with a blue-green shift, there's a white with a blue shift, a green shift, a purple with a blue shift, and a pink with a white with a pink shift. And they're gorgeous. And all depending on whatever I look, I'm going to use one of these goes in my inner corner every time. I'm going to go back in with the NYX Glitter Primer, which is a little bit, such a tiny, tiny amount. You can see barely any in my, on my finger. And I'm going to swipe a little bit in each corner. I'm just going to lightly rub it into the corner. Now, somebody in a makeup group that I'm in pointed out that I was going just a little too heavy, and I needed to kind of bring down the size of the brush that I use. So what I was using was a brush, this specific brush, which was a Morphe S20, kind of a little bit of a pencil tip, which was great, but it makes a big old mess all here. Now I have this brush that I got in a beauty box once, and it's pretty thin. What would be a really great brush to do a thin eyeline if you're going to use a gel liner, or to use as a lip brush? But I have found using it for my inner corner gets it nice and tight right in the corner, and really gets some decent payout. So I'm going to go through here with this one that's called Amethyst, and they call it an ultraviolet color. Also, just for fun, the package is hollow and so cool. These are not hollow. Iridescent maybe, not hollow. And makeup companies really need to start correctly labeling hollow versus iridescent versus duochrome. So I'm going to take it, pack it on the brush a little bit, and then I'm just going to drop a little bit into the outer corner and bring it in on my upper and lower lash line as a focal point. And you can kind of see the difference on this eye that has it and this eye that doesn't. And there you have it. And that's the complete eye look. I'm gonna go back in, finish up my whole face, and I'll be back in just a second. All right, so here you go. Here is the finished look that you saw at the beginning of the video. We have bronzer, blush, highlighter, lipstick. This is definitely one of the looks that I like to do on a regular basis, even when I'm at work, because I can't help myself, and I really, really like bold eyes. If you have any questions, ask them down below. Feel free to subscribe to me here or on Instagram, same name as it is here. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was really nice doing this for the first time. Have a good day. Bye. Oh yeah, sure, we'll be quieter. Bomb, 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 bomb. Elephant processional. Right upstairs. My God. They make everything in the cabinet shake. I don't know how they do it. It's out of control. Anyway.